Hello, my name is Megan Clark. This is my presentation over 8.5 logic puzzles for Dr. Gear's Math in the Modeled World class on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1:30 to 2:55. Pick a logic puzzle from the following website to solve. And this is my logic puzzle. A bunch of her friends threw Angie a surprise party this evening. Using only the clues below, which are on the next slide, determine what each friend brought, what time they arrived, and what town they came from. This is the setup for the logic puzzle for today. Then go to the next slide. Explain your logic and the steps that led you to solve the puzzle and the solution. Alright, so clue number 1, the friend from Dos Palos is either the friend who arrived at 4:30 p.m. or the participant who arrived at 4:40 p.m. The friend from Dos Palos, therefore, could not have arrived at 4:35, 4:45, or 4:50 p.m., so those three get to be marked off. Clue 2, the friend from Kernville arrived 5 minutes before Lorraine. This means that Lorraine cannot be from Kernville, and that can be marked off. The person from Kernville could not have arrived at 4:50 p.m., and Lorraine could not have arrived at 4:30 p.m. This is because the person from Kernville could not have arrived the latest, but Lorraine could not have arrived the earliest. The partygoer who brought the hummus arrived 10 minutes after Lorraine. Lorraine did not bring the hummus, and Lorraine could not have arrived in the last 10 minutes. Additionally, the hummus could not have been brought in the first 10 minutes, and because it has already been established that Lorraine couldn't have arrived at 4:30 p.m., the hummus could not have arrived until 4:40 p.m. And then Lorraine is from El Segundo. This means that the person from El Segundo, who we now know to be Lorraine, could not have arrived at 4:30 p.m., 4:45 p.m., or 4:50 p.m. Additionally, the person who brought the hummus could not be from El Segundo. Benita arrived 15 minutes before the partygoers from Fairfield. This means that Benita cannot be from Fairfield. She could not have arrived in the last 15 minutes, so she could not have arrived at 4:40 p.m., 4:45 p.m., or 4:50 p.m. Additionally, the partygoer from Fairfield could not have arrived in the first 15 minutes and therefore could not have arrived at 4:30 p.m., 4:35 p.m., or 4:40 p.m. With the partygoer from El Segundo and the partygoer who arrived at 4:45 p.m., one is Julie and the other brought the onion dip. The person from El Segundo could not have arrived at 4:45 p.m., which has already been marked off, and Julie could not have brought the onion dip. The participant who arrived at 4:40 p.m. didn't bring the corn chips. This means that the correlation between corn chips and 4:40 p.m. can be marked off. Which is right here. The partygoer from Martinsdale didn't bring the corn chips. The correlation between Martinsdale and corn chips can also be marked off. Grant didn't bring the pizza, so Grant and pizza is a no. The friend from Dos Palos and the partygoers who arrived at 4:30 p.m. are different people. That means that the person who arrived at 4:30 p.m. cannot be from Dos Palos. This leads the person from Dos Palos having to have arrived at 4:40 p.m. As a result, the person from El Segundo must have arrived at 4:35 p.m. As Lorraine is from El Segundo, Lorraine arrived at 4:35 p.m. Additionally, Benita therefore has to have arrived at 4:30 p.m. This means that Benita cannot be from Dos Palos. She also cannot have brought the hummus. Benita cannot be from Dos Palos and could not have brought the hummus. This should be marked off right here, but the system is that. Felipe there isn't from Martinsdale, so you can mark off that. Felipe is not from Martinsdale. Because it says the friend from Kernville arrived 5 minutes before Lorraine, and Lorraine arrived at 4:35, the friend from Kernville must have arrived at 4:30 p.m. This means that Benita is from Kernville. This also means the connection between Kernville and Hummus can be marked off. Benita is from Kernville. Kernville and Hummus is marked off. Because the partygoer who brought the hummus arrived 10 minutes after Lorraine, the hummus was brought at 4:45 p.m. Additionally, the person from Dos Palos could not have brought the hummus. 45. As Bonita arrived 15 minutes before the partygoer from Fairfield and Bonita arrived at 4:30 p.m., the partygoer from Fairfield must have arrived at 4:45 p.m. This means that the person from Martinsville must have arrived at 4:50 p.m. This also means that Fairfield must have brought the hummus. The partygoers who arrived at 4:45 could not have brought the onion dip as they brought the hummus. Therefore, the partygoer from El Segundo must have brought the onion dip. This also means that Julie arrived at 4:45 p.m., brought the hummus, and is from Fairfield. Grant is therefore from Martinsdale, which leads Felipe to be from Dos Palos. Because the person who arrived at 4:40 p.m. didn't bring the corn chips, the person from Dos Palos could not have brought the corn chips. Therefore, the person from Kernsville must have brought the corn chips. Um, because Grant is from Martinsville, but didn't bring the pizza could not be from Martinsville. This means that the pizza had to be brought by Dos Palos. Similarly, the pork rinds were therefore brought by the person from Martinsdale because Grant is from Martinsdale, he brought the pork rinds. Because Felipe is from Dos Palos and the person from Dos Palos brought the pizza, Felipe brought the pizza. This also means that Lorraine brought the onion dip. The corn chips were brought by the person from Kernville who arrived at 4:30 p.m. So therefore the corn chips also arrived at 4:30 p.m. Lorraine arrived at 4:35 and brought the onion dip, so the onion dip arrived at 4:35. Seeing as the person who brought pizza came from the town of Dos Palos and arrived at 4:40 p.m., and Felipe came from Dos Palos and brought pizza, Felipe must have arrived at 4:40 p.m. This means that Grant arrived at 4:50 p.m. Basically, all of this gets to be marked off. I really don't know where that X went to. I promise. There was one. But and so as a result, this is the chart that would be filled out at the end. At 4:30 p.m., Bonita arrived, bringing corn chips and hailing from the town of Kernville. Lorraine arrived at 4:35 p.m., brought onion dip, and hailed from the town of El Segundo. Felipe arrived at 4:40 p.m., bringing pizza, and was from Dos Palos. Julie, traveling from Fairfield, arrived at 4:45 p.m. and brought hummus. At 4:50 p.m., Grant finally arrived, coming from Martinsdale, and brought pork rinds. So, what did I learn about logic, problem solving, and or myself in the process of solving this puzzle? I used to do puzzles like this a lot when I was in elementary school, but I always had to have help from my dad because I didn't quite get it yet. This was probably the first time that I successfully completed a logic puzzle completely by myself. So I would say I definitely have a better handle on logic in general now. And that is all. Thank you for your time.